Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again is my co-host in Tocayo, who has the smile from ear to ear. Adrian, what's good, man? How are you?
Campeón, campeón. I'm just happy, dude. It's been a while since I've been this excited for eltri, so I'm just glad.
Yeah, man, good win. So this episode, we're going to be going and giving our reactions of the Gold Cup final, and we're also going to be giving the winner, the name of the winner of our 250 subscriber giveaway. So make sure you watch it through the whole episode. That we will drop the name in the middle of the episode of the 250 subscribers giveaway special. So yeah, make sure to stick it with us at PBG, and let's get back to it. Let's get into it, man. The lineup changed from the semifinal matchup against Jamaica. How did this lineup look?
So he went back to the lineup that he presented against Costa Rica with a 4-3-3. Ochoa as a keeper, the regular 4 defense that he's been using since the quarterfinals, which is Jorge Sanchez, Cesar Montes, Johan Vázquez, and Jesus Gallardo. 3 midfielders on Romo, Alvarez, and Luis Chavez, and then the top 3 were Uriel Antuna, Henry Martin, and Orbelín Pineda.
Yeah, so pretty similar, if not exactly the same as who he started against Costa Rica. And it's like we said, I mean, he has the capacity now to kind of mix it up, going between this 4-3-3 and a conventional 4-2-2 or 4-4-2 that he did against Jamaica. So let's start in the back, man. Highlighting the 2 center backs, Cesar Montes, Johan Vázquez. How did you think they performed? All in all, I'd say they had a decent game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. I think at the very beginning we saw that little mishap that Mr. Montes had, where he thought the Panama was going to cross the ball in front of him, but actually went over him, and somehow he was able to pick up the pace and finally cut the ball in front of the Panamanian striker. And so, other than that, I think it was a solid game between the center backs, Cesar Montes and Johan Vázquez. I think it's clear to say that they need to be the starting starting center backs for the 3 in the next, in the near future at least. There's no doubt that they are the best ones so far, right? I mean, currently, and it doesn't really make sense of making any changes.
Staying with the defense, looking at left back, right back, Jesus Gallardo, Jorge Sanchez. How did you think they performed here?
Well, I know we kind of sort of, well, you and I don't really pile up on Jorge Sanchez that much, but the pundits and the media out there like to nag him significantly. You and I have criticized him in a way that we understand what are his deficiencies, right, and where he can improve. But I think all this Gold Cup and starting the quarterfinals all the way to this match, he has had a uptrend. He's been playing way better, albeit this is concacaf opposition, so there's a certain specific level that he's only I guess that he gets challenged on.
Right.
But against Jamaica he was on point. Against Costa Rica he was on point, and today he was just on it, dude. He was good defensively speaking. He was good going into the offensive. So all in all, strong performance by Jorge Sanchez.
And equally strong performance from Jesus Gallardo on the left flank. He was bossing that flank. Every time they would go down that flank, you would see him, tracking. I think who was the guy, Fajardo and Barcenas, who was down that side of the that were just attacking, and they liked to attack on that side. So him having absorbed that when Luis Chavez wasn't having that great of a game there on the left mid. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he was Vázquez, super dangerous.
Yeah, Vázquez coming in and helping him out, pushing Fajardo to the side, not letting him come inside and behind. They had that unlock all the four defenders from Mexico for sure. Moving up to the midfield with Edson and Machín Álvarez, Luis Romo, and Luis Chavez. How do you rank these guys for this match?
So let's start with Edson Alvarez, right? On our last episode, we had the discussion where it was going to be a tough decision for Jimmy Lozano to determine if he wanted to keep on playing Eric Sanchez and Luis Romo in the middle, or if he was going to go back to Edson Alvarez. And I think he made the right choice on going back to Edson Alvarez because he had a very strong performance today. He dominated that midfield like no other Mexican has done it in the last couple matches. He was, a strong presence in the midfield. He was basically the driver whenever they had the transitions from offensive to defense to the from defense to offensive. And then one thing that I liked a lot is that he really understands the positioning of going from a central midfielder or a CDM to a full center back. If you pay attention to the way how fluid the Mexican team was, you could see Edson Alvarez playing, as a right center back, as a left center back, as the middle center back, whenever uh, uh, whenever Panama had a counter attack or whenever he needed to drop to pick up the slack if Jorge Sanchez or Jesus Gallardo went up front. So outstanding match from El Machin.
Definitely. He was everywhere, all over the pitch. We said that this
Mm-hmm.
would be a match that, would be controlled from either Edson Alvarez, assuming they played this formation, and or Godoy and Carrasquilla, who both Godoy and Carrasquilla for Panama had a fantastic game as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Edson outshined them in when it came to defense, helping out the defense, getting himself within the 6-yard box. There was a couple times where he literally was the last man of defense, and he was there for it, man. Up top, we had Antuna, Henry Martin, and Pineda, Orbelin Pineda. Antuna, I think, we've kind of been up and down on him all tournament,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's had a couple stinkers,
Yeah.
and he's had a couple good performances. I think this was, if we had to choose and single out somebody that kind of didn't do as well, I'm not going to crap on him and say he did horrible, but he was probably the weakest link of the 11th starters from Mexico. There were, especially in the first half, like 2 or 3 opportunities that he had that, he could have probably done a lot better with, hit it harder, put it somewhere where the goalie couldn't reach it, instead of
Yeah.
passing it 5 miles an hour straight to the goalie. I just didn't see a lot from him this match. Orbelin, I think he was pretty quiet as well. He played a little. I think he played decent. He didn't play bad. And Henry Martin, he played the Henry Martin we know and love. I mean, he a lot of hold up play. He didn't necessarily have a lot of opportunities. He had that goal that was
Disallowed.
anulado, disallowed.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he did what he had to do. He tired out Cummings, Andrade, and Escobar, the center backs, or the defenders for Panama, and eventually that pretty much led to the goal, right, from Bebote. Bebote, fresh Bebote came in the 80th minute and scored with his first touch in like the 87th, 88th minute. So
he just
Martin,
eat him up, dude.
Yeah. How did you see those delanteros, those 3 forwards?
No, I echo your comments. If we have to be nitpicky on this match and on the eltri, I think Adrian Tuna was one of the quietest players out there on today's. He continued to have that specific issue where he doesn't really make the best decisions on the last third of the pitch. We saw him, crossing the ball whenever he didn't need to cross. He was trying to shoot whenever he didn't need to shoot, and also like not necessarily. Even though that both flanks of the pitch, Mexico had a strong performance. I would say that the Luis Romo, Jorge Sanchez, and Aurelio Antuna was a little chaotic in the way that I feel that Aurelio Antuna wasn't necessarily gelling a lot with Jorge Sanchez in the sense that they really didn't pace themselves as to who's supposed to be open, right, and asking for an open ball to get the cross, or who was supposed to do the diagonals coming in from the back. So as much as, like, honestly, we don't want to be critical about Aurelio Antuna, but he's definitely. I mean, if Tecatito Corona was here, or if Adrian Lozano was here, he wouldn't be starting. That's no secret, right? So the fact that he's been given these chances to prove himself and show that he can be at the level, or at least he can be competitive with Adrian Lozano and Tecatito, and he's not capitalizing on them, right? He's not necessarily becoming an indispensable player for eltri, and he's just going to show the lack, or I guess the scarcity that he has, technically speaking, on that last third of the pitch. And as far as Orbelin Pineda, quiet game. I think we say quiet game, but it just goes to show how difficult Panama was today, right? How they were like dogs on throughout the pitch, throughout the match. And the reason why Aurelio Antuna, Orbelin Pineda, and Luis Chavez maybe had like a quiet game is because Panama was doing their job on putting pressure on them, on making sure that they were cutting that Orbelin Pineda, Aurelio Antuna were not having the space or all the time they needed to flourish on defensive. So it's just, it was a well balanced match between those two wingers and Fidel Escobar and Andres Andrade.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get into stats of Panama, big props to them. They I think undoubtedly the second best team in the tournament. That showed
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
They played well. There was moments when they had, like we said, Mexico on the ropes, and just a bit unlucky. They don't have a clinical finisher, right? So
Hmm.
they played like dogs. You said they played really well, and props to them. Before we kind of go into stats here, man, what can we say about the uh, the people that came off the bench, the players that came off the bench? Piojo Alvarado, Santiago Giménez, Eric Sanchez, and Israel Reyes. I think there's one guy there that stands out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it has to be Bebote, right? I think when you sent me a message and talking about how Henry Martin was having a good game, but he wasn't necessarily breaking through the Panamanian defense. And I jokingly say, "Hey, we need some Bebote." Bebote comes in at 85, and my read on that specific move was, okay, so Jimmy Lozano is gearing up for overtime, and
Hmm.
he's gearing up, putting a fresh pair of legs to battle Cummings and the other two center backs, on on a physical match, and see who has the fastest, or who's the fastest, right? And it went to prove that Henry Martin's, I guess, continued or I guess his persistence on bugging Harold Cummins paid off on this change, or on this sub, right? Because that's the whole reason why Santiago Giménez was able to just smoke Cummings on that goal. So he gets the biggest name dropping because of the goal. If we look at Eric Sanchez, Roberto Alvarado, because those are the guys that spend most of the time on the pitch. Israel Reyes just came in as as a time burner, and
Right.
maybe just to tie things up. So, I mean, he played for like 6 minutes, so there's nothing much to say about him. But Roberto Alvarado and Eric Sanchez, I think they came in with the right attitude, with the right mindset. You see el chiquito Eric Sanchez pressuring, putting a lot of pressure on the midfield, and he even had a shot on target that the Panama keeper deflected. Correct, uh, deflected, correct, I guess, correctly deflected. And then as far as Roberto Alvarado, he was dangerous on the flank. Both subs were good. None of them, like Gary Sanchez or Roberto Alvarado, are like essentially. I don't think they made a huge difference, but they were a good refresher for the team.
For sure. Definitely the Santi obviously gets the highlights, right? He's the one that
Hmm.
scored the goal. I think it has a lot to do with it. The goal, not to take anything away from Santi. It was a great goal, great run, taken beautifully, right? Little chip. But I think it played a part that Cummings was on a yellow card, and they were thinking of extra time.
Oh,
He probably could have done a tactical foul, got a yellow if he was smart enough at the midfield where Santi received it, and taking a yellow or maybe even a red, done a tactical foul. But since he was on a yellow already, he was probably like, "Man, I can't get another yellow. Let's see.
yeah,
Hopefully, my other defender comes in and stops him," which they didn't. Santi was too fast for him. So props to Santiago Giménez. Great goal, taken beautifully, and he made it a lot harder for Jimmy or whoever the next coach is to now have to beat again Martin, who had a really good game,
yeah.
different type of game, tiring out the
Hmm.
defenders, hold up play, versus Santi, who scored the definitive goal. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up starting moving forward for the
Yeah.
new coach or for Jimmy Lozano. Um, Real quick, before we get into the stats of the match, let's shift over our attention to the giveaway. And yeah, let's, the giveaway we've all been waiting for. So let's do it. It's time for the 250 giveaway special announcement. Who the winner is? We are here post Gold Cup, post Mexico Panama, and yeah, we appreciate all you guys interacting with us on that video for the giveaway, and everyone in general that's been a subscriber, helping the channel grow. We hope to do future giveaways, so please stay with us here as we continue to grow this channel and continue to interact with all you guys. It's fun. I mean, it's been a great time. Adrian, anything you want to add to our subscribers before we spin the wheel?
So I want to say, just like you mentioned, thank you so much for being, putting up with us. We truly appreciate your your comments and as well as your subscriptions. We're gonna keep on doing our best to make sure that you guys, are get the latest on la selección and USMNT, and as well as continue the conversation with y'all. Hopefully, we can continue to grow the PPG family.
Yes, sir. Awesome. So I'm gonna share here on the screen. We're gonna be recording this. One long spin, and we had 27 comments, 27 different subscribers comment on that video. So 27 of you guys are into this this wheel here. As you can see here on the right hand side is the 27 commenters, subscribers, and on the left is the spin the wheel. So Adrian, without further ado, man, let's see who wins that jersey.
Let's do it.
Let me give it a lot of spins here. It is number 18, the 6 p.m. delivery. Congratulations, the 6 p.m. delivery. Please reach out. Please reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram, and we will get your details there. What size shirt you want? Which can't recall what you posted if you wanted Mexico or USA, but yeah, reach out to us on our Twitter and or our Instagram. That will be in our description. And congrats again. That's awesome. Congratulations to you, and thank you everybody for playing, participating. Like we said, we hope to do more giveaways in the future. Maybe once we get another milestone, we'll do something. But yeah, thanks again for sticking with us here at PPG, and let's get back to the video. All right, so congratulations. Again, please be sure to reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram so we can get your details and, shirt details and shipping details, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get back to the stats of the game, man. We talked about before the match how Panama had been dominating possession. They dominated possession in the third place match against in the Nations League against Mexico. Dominated possession every match they played here in the copaoro. United States in the Qatar in the quarters, United States in the semis, etc. Here, a very close possession game. Mexico ultimately coming on top, 52 to 48%. Mexico dominating in terms of shots, right? Something we've seen Mexico do all tournament. 23 shots, 14 shots Panama. Only 2 on target for Panama, 7 on target for Mexico. So almost one third of Mexico's shots were, on target, which is, I think, an improvement especially compared to the Qatar match. And, they've been slowly improving their efficiency. Passes were pretty identical, 386 passes for Mexico to 366 for Panama, 79% pass accuracy completion for Mexico, 77 for Panama, and a lot of fouls, 24 Mexico, 17 Panama, 4 and 4 yellow cards. So pretty battled match, man. Pretty even in terms of, passes, possession, accuracy, fouls. It's just that one big difference, right? Ultimately was the shots on target and the shots. Mexico, you tried, and ultimately got rewarded with that one goal. One goal in 23 shots isn't the best, but man, when your defense is as good as they were today, you'll take it, and that's all you really need to win.
Yeah.
How do you see Jimmy Lozano now that he won the Gold Cup?
Look, it's no secret, right? I've been saying this for a few episodes now. I am a fan of Jimmy Lozano because I am a mamador de futbol, and I love the way that he, the way that he has studied the game, the way that he has prepared himself, the fact that he's a young coach, he understands the new Mexican idiosyncrasy, or I guess the idiosyncrasy of the Mexican player, right? He has had plenty of time coaching, the base of this team. So to me, it just makes sense to leave him as the head coach for the next World Cup. I guess for 2026, right? So the way that I see it now, it's going to be more difficult for Doña Fede y sus secuaces to give him the boot, right? We discussed this on our previous episode how Ibar Cisniega came out of nowhere because no one asked for that video to say that they were still looking for the coach. There was nothing set in stone. That regardless of the outcome of today's match, there was no guarantee that Jimmy Lozano was going to remain as a coach, but that Jimmy Lozano was part of the list of candidates they had. So I think that this specific win will make it way more difficult for them to, say, hey, no, you're not. We don't want Jimmy Lozano at all with the national team. I see his stock rising, but I also want to be, I want to be calm about the situation. I want to make sure that I remain, grounded. Because as much as I like Jimmy Lozano, as much as I've vibrated with today's match, I am also open to see what's out there, right? I'm also open to see maybe bringing in someone like Nacho Ambriz or an international big name, if they want to open the wallet and spend the bucks on a big name. But I would love to see Jaime Lozano remain at la selección mexicana as something, right? If it's an assistant coach for the next or for the next technical, or if it's just being part of this first team. That's how I would like to see Jimmy Lozano in the near future.
Yeah, no, I think he's at least earned that. Will he accept a secondary role? Who knows at this
Yeah.
point? But definitely props to him for bringing this team together. When they were at their lowest and getting them back to playing great football. It'd be interesting to see how this team at this with this confidence plays against the USA A team now. I think that would be a lot better match than the one we saw back in the
Yeah.
Nations League.
Mhm.
Well, man, moving forward, we're gonna go back to our regular programming of 6 things we learned after each match, and analyzing trade rumors this summer. Before
Mhm.
we close out here, obviously we're gonna do our 6 things we learned for USA Gold Cup and 6 things we learned from Mexico Gold Cup this week. Anything else you want to add about Mexico's performance here or this match in general, man?
No, I mean just for my mamadores de football out there. Um, this match was a great example of whenever people tell you if you're watching football and you're following the ball, you're watching it wrongly. That's a say that los mamadores del fútbol like to mention, and this was a great example of that. If you were paying attention to the match, where if you were paying attention to the plays without the ball during the match, that's when you saw the magic of Jimmy Lozano. How the players were super fluid, how whether they were moving as needed, they were supporting each other in the way that they knew how to cover for themselves. What was their purpose on the specific? What was the purpose on the pitch? What was expected from them? So all in all, strong performance. I think it's been a while since we've been on this accelerated by eltri, and I'm just glad to see that at least for a short period of time, El Jimmy Lozano was able to infuse some life into this team.
For sure, man. It was a great performance and overall performances that kept getting better as the Gold Cup went on. Adrian, man, as we wrap up here, why don't you remind our listeners where they can find us, dude?
They can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Puro Pinche Gol. We post stuff every now and then. If you're the winner of the giveaway, make sure that you reach us out via Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, Twitter or Instagram. You don't have to use both. Just with one or the other.
Either
And
or, yeah.
yeah. And to everyone that participate and to all our subscribers that we currently have, and our growing PPG Nation base here, man. We appreciate you guys sticking with us and growing with us. We hope to do more giveaways in the future, so don't go anywhere. And keep. We love interacting with you guys, so keep it here with PPG. Also, let us know in the comments. What did you see of Mexico, of Jimmy Lozano's team here in the final? What did you see of Panama? Were you impressed? I know we were impressed by Panama. Do you think that ultimately the biggest, the best team that played the Gold Cup won the Gold Cup? Were Mexico deserved champions? We think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like interacting with you guys, so let us know in the comments below for sure. Adrian, man, it's been a great Gold Cup this year, 2023. Started a little slow, but ultimately it was a good final. I'll see you in the next one, brother.
Take it easy, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, man. See ya.